Let your mind just start to wander and allow those ideas, allow that inspiration to come in. And I think you'll find that it's a really, really good feeling.
You are listening to the Beyond the Classroom podcast, a podcast for burnt-out teachers who know something's gotta give. After teaching for 14 years and feeling completely burned out for way too long, in May of 2022, I made a big decision and left the classroom. I now help burnt-out teachers like you take back balance and joy so you can wake up every day loving your life. In this podcast, we'll explore who you are beyond the classroom, whether you're considering leaving or wanting to make changes so you can fall in love with teaching again. Either way, I understand what it's like to be living a life that looks fun and cute on the outside. You know, summer's off, playing all day, off at 2 o'clock every day, but actually feels miserable and draining. I'm your host and coach, Sandy Patterson, and I'm so excited to help you step into your fullest potential and believe in that potential to make an impact on the world, not just survive each day. Are you ready? Let's do this.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Beyond the Classroom podcast. I am Sandy Patterson, your host and certified life and business coach. And as always, I am so happy that you are here today. I'm just going to dive right in. This is probably going to be a little bit of a shorter episode. I guess we'll see how long I end up talking. But I had a conversation with my oldest son the other day, and I thought I would bring this to this space here on the podcast with you because I think it's a really, really good reminder, and it was a really good reminder for me. And so I just want to share this today because we are so freaking overstimulated. Like all the time we're being stimulated, and if it's not one thing, if it's not like our phones that are stimulating us or our computers or, the screen, I guess, essentially, it can be all the other things that are happening in life. We all have so much stuff going on. Like there's so many things. And as teachers, as business owners, as moms, as caregivers, it really feels like all the time, at every moment of every day, somebody needs something from you. So this is today going to be your reminder that it's okay to just be, and the benefits of just being and unplugging and just giving yourself just a second, giving yourself a little bit of space to just take a deep breath, to drop back into your body and just be. Okay. So I was having this conversation. My oldest son came home from school one day. He is in 4th grade and they are doing standardized testing right now. So it's this big thing at school. They go to school, they take the test, they do their best, whatever. I could care less about standardized testing. And I tell them that. I'm like, just do your best. It doesn't matter. It literally does not matter at all. See, I'm doing my best to try to avoid giving this achiever perfectionist thing to my kids that I have carried with me for so long. So I'm like, I don't care. I even tell them, I'm like, I don't even actually care about your grades. All I really care about is that you are a kind person, that you're a good person, that you stand up for people when they need you to stand up for them, that you're a good listener, that you're respectful, that you're empathetic, and just be a good friend. That's literally all I care about. And that's all I tell their teachers too at their conferences. I'm like, I don't even really want to look at their report card. Are they being nice? Are they being good kids? That's all I care about. So anyways, back on track. He comes home from school and he is telling me about his day. And he says, oh, I was so bummed because for state testing, it's this chunk of time, right? I was supposed to bring a book or pick a book or something, have a book next to me. So then when I finish my test, I could read. And he says, I forgot to grab my book before the test started. And once the test started, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to get up. So I was kind of just stuck there. And this is my oldest. So he's like the rule follower. He probably could have actually gotten up to get a book or reached into his backpack and got the book out, but he's a rule follower to the T. So I said, oh, so what did you do then? What ended up happening? And he said, oh, I just sat there. And I said, oh, and I kind of made a joke about it. I was like, oh, so you kind of just sat there and stared off into space? And he was like, yeah. And I like kind of paused for a second and I was like, huh, like, and I said, Kate, like, that is actually really good for your brain. It's really good for your brain sometimes to just like stop and slow down and to stare off into space, because that's when your best ideas come to you. And he kind of looked at me like, he was like, how did you know that? And he goes, I had the best idea. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. See, I told you, like, that's when our great ideas come. It's like, it's good for our brains to take a break. And he goes, my idea is, it's a recipe. I want to make this pizza that has sauce, but instead of using cheese on it, it's going to have mac and cheese. And then I'm going to put pepperonis on it. So in my mom head, I'm like, this is awesome. Like, perfect. Like, let's make your pizza. But again, the idea here is that it really, truly is really good for our brains to slow down and to not think about anything, to let our brains like wander and just go where it needs to go. Like basically what I'm describing is like meditation, right? Is like clearing your mind and just kind of letting yourself like be. And I also know that like who has time to do like a full blown, like even 15-minute meditation every day? Like not me. So I just want to remind you today that this space to just be and to stare off into space is something that we should all be prioritizing because we are so overstimulated. And I know for me, even I have a hard time with this sometimes, because when I have a moment, and you're probably the same as me, when I have a moment where I'm like, okay, I got a second here. I got a second. My brain immediately goes to, what do I need to do next? Or what can I do right now to be productive in this like downtime? Like I find myself, and I think we often do this, and it's not something that I'm proud of, but how many times do you have like a second and you're just like, okay, cool. And then you reach for your phone and you grab your phone and you open up and you start like, I don't know, scrolling, checking your email, going on Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is that you do, checking your text messages, whatever. We reach for our phones. I even do this sometimes. I'll find like, oh my gosh, like, okay, I'm doing the dishes right now. How could I make this even more productive? Let me throw my earbud in, and what podcast can I listen to listen to something? And this is not to knock podcasts. It's not to knock Instagram or scrolling, because I know like it's fine. It's all fine. Everything's fine. But the idea here is that, are you capable and are you working towards giving yourself some space to let your brain kind of destimulate, to just stop and like be, just let yourself be there. Even if it's just 5 minutes. I've worked on this with some of my clients too. And it's like this idea of like this, we always have to be productive. We always have to be doing something. There always has to be something in our ear or in our face, or we always have to be achieving something or accomplishing something or making the most of our time. And it's just simply not true. And so recently, within the past year, I have really, really prioritized, with the work of my own coach, really prioritized just, I call it alignment time, where it's just time for me to be and to ask myself, like, what do you need today, Sandy? And to just be there and let my mind just kind of go wherever it wants to go. And just like my son said, you guys, this is when my best ideas come. When I'm not trying to force anything, when I'm not sitting down to like purposefully map out some new podcast episode or a course or an offer or an Instagram post or whatever it might be. It just comes. But it doesn't come unless I allow myself that space to just be and to breathe and to come back and focus on my breath and ask myself, how are you feeling today? What do you need today? What do you need today? What is it that you need? Do you need more rest? Do you need to drink more water? Do you need some alone time? Do you need a little bit of space? Do you need some connection? Do you need to be in community right now? What do you need? We can't answer that unless we stop and we give ourselves space to answer it. And this is where the idea of actually giving yourself permission to not be productive 24 hours of the day, 7 days of the week, giving yourself permission, not only giving yourself permission, but encouraging yourself to just create time in your day where you get to just be. This is even hard for me. I just sat down to eat my lunch. I'm all by myself here, just me and George, me and the dog. And of course, my instinct is to reach for a book to read while I'm eating my lunch, or reach for the remote so I can turn on Love is Blind so I can finally finish that stupid show. My instinct is to grab my phone and pull up my email and just check in with my email and see what's going on. But then again, I'm reminding myself like, no, you do not need to reach for any of those things. Just sit here and enjoy your food and let your mind wander, like let it go. Same thing when I'm like in the shower even. The shower is a perfect time to let your mind like go and wander and just be and breathe, right? For most of us, like that's a great time. I love listening to podcasts. So sometimes I'll pull my my phone into the bathroom and turn on a podcast. Again, there's nothing wrong with that, but how can you intentionally create space in your day to just stare off into space and allow yourself to be destimulated? I promise you, pinky promise, that if you start to do this, you will start to notice really big shifts in all areas of your life. I promise. Because you have space, you're not feeling overwhelmed. You're no longer feeling like you're running this like hamster wheel constantly, running. There's no catching up. And it's almost that feeling of like when you go to bed and then you wake up feeling just as exhausted, right? It's because of all of that stimulation. It's because our society is everything's quick, everything's instant, everything is there. There's so much information being input all the time that where are we giving ourselves space to just be? So I'm going to share some of my favorite ways to do this. This doesn't mean it's like the end all be all list. It doesn't mean that you have to do any of these things. It's just some ideas for you. Maybe you have ideas of things that you like to do to destimulate your brain and just stare off into space. So feel free to steal any of those or take them. They're yours. The first thing that I found that I love to do is ground. I think it's called grounding. I don't actually know what it's called. So we're just going to call it grounding because that's what I call it. But when you actually go just like lay down on the actual ground. So laying down like on cement or laying down on the grass or laying down in the sand. I love laying in the sand, or on like a warm rock, right? Just laying and like allowing your body to just like soak up the sun. Hopefully it's sunny when you're doing this, right? But that's one of my favorite things to do and ways to do this. And I'm not going out for hours and laying down. No, this could be 10 to 15 minutes. And I feel so much better. And I know I can tell now when I'm like, okay, I'm getting overstimulated. I need to get outside. I need to get some fresh air. I need to lay down on the ground. I need to ground. I also love taking walks with the dog. That's also something where my best ideas come. And again, it's a matter of taking out the ear pod, leaving the phone at home and just walking. And recently I've come to notice and come to kind of pay attention more to like the sounds around me, like the birds and the wind and the airplanes flying by. And that for me is another really great way to destimulate and to just kind of recenter and realign. So I would love to hear if you have other ideas or ways that maybe it's meditation, maybe it's yoga, maybe it's some sort of movement, maybe how do you clear your mind? How do you, when you're feeling overstimulated, how do you de-stress? How do you calm yourself down? I know some people love breath work, meditation, all of those things are so amazing. And I would love to hear, and maybe you haven't noticed yet, but there is in the show notes, I would love for you, there's a way now for you to leave me a voice note. So if you have an idea for a podcast episode or a question that you have for me or just anything you'd like to share, please feel free to drop it in there. I would love to hear from you. And you can also share too, how you destimulate. I would love to hear that. So I hope this was helpful for you. I hope that it has you think twice the next time that you have a second to just let your brain kind of wander and you go to grab your phone or you go to grab your computer and just think twice and give yourself a little bit of space, a little bit of time to look off into space. It's kind of the same thing too when my kids are in the car, we don't have TV screens in the car. You know how some cars have those cool you can put a movie on or whatever. We don't have that. And so sometimes we'll go on like long trips and the boys will be like, can we, my friend so-and-so has the TV. I wish we could watch a movie right now. I'm like, no, just look out the window. Look out the window. Let your mind just start to wander and allow those ideas, allow that inspiration to come in. And I think you'll find that it's a really, really good feeling to get back in touch with yourself after taking care of other people so much. I know, because I know that's who you are. You take care of everybody. Don't forget to take care of yourself and give yourself a little space. So until next time, you guys, I'll see you here, same time, same place next week. Bye.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of Beyond the Classroom. If you know something has to change and you're ready to take the next step to make it happen, whether it's in or out of the classroom, let's talk it through together. Schedule a no-obligation chat with me and we can talk through where you're stuck, how to get you unstuck, and how to keep you moving forward. Schedule your free call today by clicking the link in the show notes. I can't wait to connect with you.